Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Wow, it's really been a long time. But guys, we are back. Welcome back to Say Matters with Roy, your favorite YouTube channel where you get to learn, relearn, and unlearn from different aspects of life. And guys, we are still currently on marriage matters. So, guys, if you can see me clearly and you can hear me audibly well, please make yourself comfortable. Let your friends, your colleagues at work, your siblings, brothers and sisters around you, let them know that yes, we are live and we are back. And guys, today, as you can see from the flyer, you will see that we are having an interesting topic of discussion today, which is on overcoming over familiarity in marriage. Guys, it's going to be an interesting one. It's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. Come along with us as we enjoy this practical discussion together. And as usual, I am not the only one here today. I have our special guest with us, and they are here ready to share their experiences, ready to share with us practical tips on how we can actually overcome over familiarity in our marriage relationships. Guys, join me in welcoming no other persons but Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji, all the way from the United States of America. Thank you very much, Sir and Ma, for the opportunity to have you with us on the platform today, live and direct. For the sake of people who do not know you, and for people who will be watching you for the first time, please briefly introduce yourself. We want to know you and any other thing that you like our viewers to know about you. Over to you, Sir and Ma.
Thank you, our dear host. We are happy to be here once again. And this is an opportunity to learn, to relearn, and to unlearn, just like you have said. My name is Fola, and I have here with me Bumi. Our last name is Bolaji, and we are based in United States, Boston, Massachusetts. So we are happy to be here on this show. We are happy to discuss marital topics, and we hope that everybody will join us in this conversation so that we may drive these points home. Thank you.
Thank you for
Wow.
having us.
Thank you very much, Sir and Ma. Brave introduction, no stories. All right, guys, you know what? People often believe that the longer you stay in a marriage relationship, the easier and the better you can sustain the marriage, or better still, the longer you stay in a marriage relationship, the easier it is for you to love, the easier it is for the love between the couples involved to grow stronger. But guys, I'm here to tell you that it takes efforts. It doesn't just work like that. The same effort, the vibes that you put into making that marriage work. In fact, not even a marriage work, the same effort it is, the same vibes you took, everything that you put into making that wedding happen, making that brother and that sister agree to marry you. All the calls, the messages, the check-ins, and everything. If you don't continue to do that, then it will be very difficult for you to grow in love. And that is one of the things we'll be discussing today. How to keep, how to spice up your marriage, how to overcome see finish. Let me use the Nigerian language, see finish. How to overcome see finish in our marriages. How to strengthen the bond of love in our marriage relationship. And before I continue, guys, I would like to give our guests the privilege to share with us what they think. Is it actually possible to lose the respect, to actually experience see finish in our marriages? Over to you, Sir and Ma.
Thank you. We appreciate that introduction and it's interesting. This is a reality, and this is something that every marriage has to face at one point in time or the other. There's something that is called tip of the iceberg. Like when you see the tip, you appreciate it, and you are eager to see the rest. So when you're watching, or you will have seen a lot of trailers to movie, and when you are seeing such trailer, they are trying to fantasize you. They want to bring up the eagerness and the expectation such that you want to see everything, that kind of thing. That is a stage for courtship, for relationship, and for most of us, there is this saying that we try to interpret. I know it in my cultural language that, but we interpret it into English that adults come here and swear if you have never been a child.
Abo, abo.
But if you have never behaved like a child, come and swear. Come
Hmm.
and swear as an adult. So every one of us have been through that stage when we're in courtship, when we fell in love, even some of us for infatuations. You just want to talk more, you just want to see her, you want to see him. Oh, he sent a message. Oh, why is he not picking my call? I've been calling her since yesterday. Why is she not responding? All those kind of stages.
The butterfly
Because it's an
feelings.
exactly introductory level and things like that. But eventually, after coming together, after settling down, like our host has used the word, see finish may happen. That's so she's not more than this. So so
This is
that is all
everything.
is God. This is everything. And then and it happens not just in marriage. Sometimes, I've listened to somebody sharing in Chicago some years ago, and he was saying that he he usually reminds himself and even other people that they should put on the cap, the applicant's cap when they're at work. When you're applying to the job, you say, I'm proactive, I'm hardworking, I'm this, I have the team spirit, and all those kind of things. You package everything in your resume, and then when you get the job, after the first few months or after the 1 year, you begin
Relax.
to relax and you begin to take it as say finish has happened. But when you remember the time you are an applicant, then it will ginger you up to say, let me put in my best. So sometimes, as husband and wife, we need to remind ourselves about those days when we are traveling long distance to go and meet our spouse, when we are always waking up in the middle of the night to talk to our spouses. We need to remember all of those times so that those things will bring back some restoration and some level of marital revival or relationship revival. So, over familiarity is normal. It's going to come. But what are the things that we need to do such that it will not affect our relationship, it will not affect our interaction, it will not affect our appreciation for the person that we have married? And that is what I believe we will be trying to share among ourselves, and we are going to be conversing around that. So that's my introductory aspect. Over to you, mine.
You don't say I'm finished. Yeah, I love of introducing over familiarity as it's not something we it is not something we cause. It is something that happens.
So that's another over familiarity. Now you are rating that I've done a good job, right? You are the judge. Over familiar.
By
I'm just kidding. Anyway,
yeah, it is not something that we cause. It is something that happens by virtue of relationship and life and things going on, like life just continuing to move on. And like I think there was a time we did like assumptions before marriage or something around that. And it so happens like I love like the trailer example you gave of a movie. Like we all have something on our mind when we are thinking about marriage, and when you get into it to be like, oh, so this is all that is like, so this is how it runs and things like that. So I think it's a natural occurrence that happens with relationship, but we just need to be conscious of it, like you said, so that we don't allow it to affect the growth of our marriage relationship, because it is not bad in itself. It is the way we use it that determines whether we go the negative side or we go the positive side in our relationship.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir and Ma. Like Brofola and Stabumi said, it has the good side of it. You being able to understand who your spouse is. You can defend him or her anywhere. Oh, my husband's favorite food is this. Or it would like this would be his best option. If my husband is not here, then I can decide for him. I know what he likes in terms of food, dressing. You can make decisions for them. That is very good. But you know what? When it gets to the level of being over familiar with each other, then you begin to the respect for each other. Maybe before before you got married, there are some things like Brofola said, the calls, the messages, checking up on each other. Oh, are you okay? I just said, let me check on you. Have you arrived? That was your journey, things like that. And then the moment the marriage journey begins, all of these efforts, all of this intentionality, all of these vibes begin to reduce. And then you begin to assume, "Ah, after all, he should know, she should know. I don't need to tell him I love him. He should understand that I love him. I don't need to I don't need to do this. I don't After all, that's his work. It's not my job. But during the courtship days, you don't think that way. You believe, oh, I can do this. Don't worry. Leave it to me. I will do it. But what happens? What happens when the real marriage journey begins? And that is why we are here today to talk about how do we overcome over familiarity in our marriages. Of course, it is real and it's something natural. It's something that just comes, as you journey in this thing called marriage. But we shouldn't allow it to tear our marriages apart. We shouldn't allow it to scatter things. Rather, we want to consider the tips, things that we can do to spice up our marriages. So, sir and ma, what do you think actually causes over familiarity? We've agreed that over familiarity is real. It is normal. It can happen to any marriage relationships. But at the same time, I want us to consider why and how can we overcome over familiarity.
Yeah,
Which one of
so I may be wrong, but what I'm thinking is over familiarity itself is not a problem, but it can lead to problem if it is not well handled. That is my own thinking because you cannot escape from it, you cannot stop it. You are living together with your spouse, you are even probably raising kids together, and then you are staying in the same room, staying on the same bed, you dine together, and sometimes you can even get to the bathroom together, different kind of things like that. So you cannot avoid over familiarity, except we are talking about people that got married and the husband is living in another city, the wife is living in another city, or the wife is living in another country and the husband in another country for many years. So, and we don't really appreciate that kind of relationship, except circumstances force them into such relationship. So, if we are talking about husband and wife living together, raising kids together, or doing things together, definitely there'll be over familiarity, but the reality is, we need to consistently work. We need to be intentional about this. That this over familiarity is not going to reduce my affection, it's not going to reduce my appreciation, it's not going to reduce my respect for my spouse, regardless of what happened. So, if we are talking about marital relationship, we are talking about partners in progress. We have come together, we have made vow, let's work, let's run the race of life together. So one of those things that could be helpful is to remind ourselves about the goal. We have the ambition to support one another to achieve each other's goal. So the fact that I now know all that you carry, I know all that you have, should not reduce my affection, should not reduce my respect for the goal, respect for you, so that we can achieve the goals that we have in mind. So there are many myths, or there are many statements that have been said in time past about when people are too close, things that happen over familiarity, bring contact, different kind of things like that. But the reality is that when we are talking about marriage, marriage itself is an institution, and this institution is expected to last for lifetime. You are expected to be in this marriage for a lifetime. It's more or less like talking about higher institution, which is for a short period of time. But when you go into the higher institution, maybe you are going for your first degree, going for masters or PhD, and then you get there are many stress, there are many issues, you see lecturers, you see all that they carry and things like that. Because you have a goal at the back of your mind, then you don't say, yeah, I've been there, let me just get out. No, you go through all of those things, all of those challenges, all of those situations, and you appreciate them because you're learning new things, you're adjusting, your lifestyle is changing, your mentality is changing, you are developing your intellect, and all of those things are happening to you, though they are very challenging, but you don't have content for your university. You don't have content towards your goal. You don't have content for people that are even teaching you. So in marriage, we have to be intentional about what is even the reason why I got married to this lady. Why did I even get married to this man? What is the goal? Then the appreciation should now come that she's all in. I'm all in, then we are pursuing the goal. So even when over familiarity is there, then we are interpreting it that this familiarity is helping our relationship, is helping us to be cooperative, is helping our unity, is helping our bond, and it will help us to achieve more than if she's far away and I see her once in a while, or if he's far away and she sees me once in a while. So that's my own thing.
Yeah, I think that the word over familiarity has some form of negative connotation around it. That's something that I was thinking as you're talking. Like, it's not a problem, but it kinds of, maybe most of the time when it is used, it is used in the negative. Because come to think of it, who doesn't love couples who are behaving like childhood friends? Like if you sit down, for example, you're at the airport and you have this couple, they're giggling, like, or beside the beach, they are running behind one another. That is very attractive. At that time, you don't feel these people have known themselves complete. Or like Sister Rhoda also said, like the example of being able to say, what do you think your husband will like? If I respond with, I don't know in public, maybe they want to serve food and they say, what food do you think your husband will like? And I say, I don't know. I think two, three or so people there will be like, you don't know the food your husband likes.
And
Like
you have been
that
married for how
sounds, you've
long?
been married for how long and you don't know. That looks strange. So I think that first of all, the use of over familiarity has been attached to, or maybe the over part of it is the negative, that
Yeah.
they have seen themselves finish. That's why she's behaving like that. Or that was the reason why he spoke to her like that, because they don't see themselves finish. So I probably think that that's where the negative connotation is coming from. But I think that our focus should be talking about how do we not get to that stage where we communicate, behave, or do things in a way that shows that we are treating our partner with contempt because we believe that we have known them, like we have seen them finish, or we have become over familiar with them. Um, I remember recently I was listening to a woman and she said, so the woman is in US and her daughter has an hospital appointment. You have to arrive 15 minutes early and stuff like that. And getting an appointment was hard. I think she said that the doctor you have to book like 8 months ahead or something like that. So she was going to the hospital. She doesn't know the hospital had moved. But by the time they got to the location, she realized they had moved and they arrived at the 15-minute time. So she called and was like, well, I realized you are no more here. So and they're like, oh, sorry, we didn't put it in the reminder. But we are just like 5 minutes away from the block, that, and they gave the new location. And she said after she dropped the call, she was like to her daughter, let's go, like, let's do this quick. Like, and the daughter was just like, Mom, do you know how you spoke to that woman on phone? That's how I would prefer you speak to me. Because you see, because she's calling an external person. Now, it is the fault of the hospital that they moved and did not communicate with patients to say, we have moved, this is the new location. But she wasn't communicating anger. She was nice on the phone. Like, yeah, I didn't realize that. All right, okay, I'll be there shortly. But now when it's her daughter, who did not cause anything, they're like, move, 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 do everything fast. And you know, that was just, and the woman said that really sent a message to her that it's not her fault. I could not hurry the woman on the phone. I could not say, book the time. We'll be here. She was nice. And that is what we do sometimes. And that is why we need to talk about this. Like, how do you know because you are friends, you are familiar, not begin to behave to them in such a way that he should understand, he should know, or he should know that I'm just angry. That's why I'm speaking that way, or stuff like that. So, yeah,
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 that's
that's
you know,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a very powerful example. Very
Yeah, exactly. It reminded me of something I read while I was preparing for this live stream. Person said some couples will be like, "Why can't my husband just behave the same way? Let him just act the same way he used to act when we were courting." Now, why would he just change? All the pampering, all the calls, what happened to them? And then, someone said that, what? If you're not ready to get committed, look beyond the piece of paper that was given to you on your wedding day, which is the marriage certificate. Look beyond the vows. For better, for worse, and this and this. Be ready to work because marriage don't take care of itself. You have to take care of it. Just like our businesses. Businesses don't take care of themselves. The owner of the business must be ready to put in everything it takes to make the business thrive. So I think maybe by the time we start seeing our marriages as a business, like if I don't make this business work, if I don't put in the effort, the commitment, the consistency, and everything that I need, then this marriage will not work. And some years ago, we actually interviewed a couple, and the husband said, "We go to school for years. Some people go to the university for 4 years, some for 5 years, depending on your school, depending on the course you are studying. We go to the university to study, to have a deeper understanding of the courses we want to learn about. But you know what? People don't get into learning what marriage entails. People just feel, oh, marriage is just a man and a woman coming together as husband and wife, and that is all it is. But we don't get to understand that you have to learn that this is work. You are getting into work. You're not just going into all the fantasy. Maybe the fantasy is there for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. After 1 year, things are changing. But by the time you realize that this is work, and it is left to me as the wife or the husband whether this marriage will work or not. I think maybe by the time we start seeing it like that, and not just we are married, nothing is happening. Let's go. Life continues. We wake up, we go to work, come back, we become housemates, take care of the kids, and all of that. Maybe by the time we start seeing it as, oh, it's like I'm gradually losing my first love. The love I had for my spouse. The first time I met him, the first time I sighted my eyes on her. Oh, where did the feelings disappeared? Where has it gone to? And I think this feeling, this thought of marriage is work and we have to make it work. Maybe it can one way or the other help us into like seeing the reality, like the example that Sister Bumi shared the other time. We talk to outsiders calmly, with all courtesy and the likes, but when we come to our own houses, into our own homes, we just talk anyhow. After all, is my husband, is my wife, I don't care. But we still want that bond to be there. it takes work. Let me give Brofola and Sister Bumi. Let me give them the chance to talk. Sign, Ma. Let's hear from you, Ma.
Yeah, that's a very powerful piece of information there that will be helpful. And just like we have said at the beginning of this program, this is a place where we learn, unlearn, and relearn. There are so many things that happens to us in relationship that we may not be conscious of them. Some of them they come in subtly, and if care is not taken, if there is no room for evaluation, if there is no room for checking and looking here and there, you may not even discover that many things are changing. And over the years, many things can change. And if you are talking about, oh, a husband thinking that why is it that my wife is not the way she was when we were in courtship? Why is it that my husband is not the way he was sounding when we were in courtship? Then the first thing we need to begin to do is to think about ourselves. Have I also changed? If I've changed, how can I go back to the person I used to be? Probably that may sensitize my wife that, oh, this is the man I married. Am I the same woman she married? And all of those things. We need to be conscious of this. We need to be sincere about this evaluation, and we need to be intentional about it. Like, for example, that illustration that my wife shared the other time is a very touching illustration, which is calling into me another level of prayer request and prayer points. Because sometimes unconsciously, the way we address our kids, the way we address our spouse, we don't think about it. And if you are raising kids that will be shouting on their spouse or that will be shouting on their siblings, get out, get out, get out, get out, then what do you expect when they get married in the future?
Mm.
Because some of those things we are shouting on them about, they did not even cause it. They don't cause those situations, but we are just transferring aggression.
Aggression.
And
Mm.
it happens even in marriage. Things will happen at work. Instead of us to come home, relive everything shared with our spouse, we just be transferring aggression out of ego. Somebody insulted you, you could not reply, you could not address the situation at work. Now you are coming back home to your spouse and you are reacting as if your spouse was the one that insulted you. All of those things, we need to be conscious of those things. Our relationship, what is the rating of our relationship? If our spouse will rate us, do we show respect? Do we show respect? Do we show appreciation even for little things? I was watching a short clip this morning and it touches my heart. And the clip is about a girl that went out to be taking care of her mom that was mad. The mother ran mad, and the girl just went taking care of her, beginning to buy things for her and say, I cannot deny my mom. She's my mom. The mom was on the streets,
Mm.
sleeping on the streets in tattered clothes. But she identified with her mom and she was there for her mom.
Mm.
Regardless, if you are saying for better, for worse, so many times we don't know that for better, for worse, even start with little things. How do we respond? When you're expecting your spouse to do something and she did not do it or he didn't do it, how did you react? Violently, friendly, calmly, peacefully, constructive, positively constructive, all those kind of things. We need to be intentional about it and we need to evaluate ourselves as we grow in marriage. Over to you.
Yeah, I think as you're saying the evaluation, I think that's very, very important. Like, um what always comes to my mind is retrocession, and I'll call it retrospective because I think that's one of the things we need to be doing. We need to have retrospective sessions, personally and with one another in our relationships. We need to be doing evaluation. And I'm talking from the perspective of like project management now. Like if you're using like agile method, you have sprints. You evaluate every 2 weeks. How is this work progressing? Hers may not be like every 2 weeks. I think for us as Christians, it should even be daily. That's why we have quiet time. How am I being a Christian? How am I living this Christian life? And in our marriages, if the worst is going to come to worst, at least let's have retros during our anniversaries. When we have our anniversaries, let's talk. What are the things we are observing? What are the things we're working on? What are the things we realize are like going out of tune and stuff like that? So having that frequent evaluation of ourselves as individuals in the relationship and the relationship itself um, will be very helpful to me to consciously think about how we are living the life and how we are enjoying the life, and be able to call it out and be able to pick things that we need to work on. I think the second thing I also want to say is that we should build cultures in our relationships, cultures around how we do things. I think if we look at it, it's just natural, like we established before. For example, cooking. You want to make a meal for the family, you put things together. Just let's cook. But if we have a culture around it, like in our family, we have like movie nights, and other cultures of Sunday afternoon, daddy and mommy go out somewhere. The kids are like used to that kind of things like that. When we have them in our relationship, it helps us to continue to be friends with ourselves and with our children as well. And let's not forget, there's something that I always try to remember, like the example I gave. I still have like a practical experience that I was sharing with my husband like 2 days ago, that I wanted to walk beside the dining table and I hit my leg violently, like because I was in a hurry. I just hit it so badly, it hurt me. I was like, hey. And my daughter was there and she was like, Mom, are you okay? And I was like, do I look okay? Like, because I, I was in a great, great pain. And she just spoke the Oyinbo method of, I'm like, in our own
That's
culture. I
yeah,
was
that's
telling my
how to show
husband,
care.
in our
Yeah.
own culture, you show care by saying, oh, sorry. For them, yeah, sorry is not appropriate because you did not offend the person. Why should you
Exactly.
apologize? So they'll say,
Exactly.
so you say, are you okay? But the are you okay did not enter a good place in my head. I was like, do I look okay? But after I walked away, I just quickly remember she was just being
Caring.
caring. So I said, I apologize for for responding that way. I know I was wrong, but that in my culture, sorry sounds more appropriate than are you okay? Are you
It,
okay?
it reminded me of one picture I saw on someone shared a picture with me, and the picture was a son, a boy was talking to his mom like, "Mom, where have you been? I'm starving." And then the mom looked at him and said, "Did I take the kitchen with me?" I was like, the responses that we give to our kids, like Bropola said, sometimes it's as a result of transfer of aggression. And
Yeah.
we sometimes do this even to our spouses. But if we
Mhm.
remember, okay, please continue, ma.
Absolutely. So I think that's just I'm just saying let's build culture around what we do. Like if we are cooking meals every day, it can become so natural that we just cook the same way. But let's cook differently. Like in the Yoruba culture that I come from, or in most of our families, when we have guests, we prepare the table in a different way. And one of the popular minister that I listened to Nigeria said that the day she changed was when that one day she just felt like, I should serve our family differently today. Like, and she started preparing the table, and the son came and was like, who is coming? And she's like, oh, so you don't deserve using the special plates. Like, it's our family that is doing it now. So I think that if we
Mm.
build like cultures of milestones that remind us of um things that to treat one another importantly. I think that's another appropriate way to say it. Cultures around things like that is going to help us to not be over familiar to the extent of treating our partners with content, because we remember, I'm using this dish today, I'm using this this is how, like, I'm prepared, like this is the event that we are going to have today. We want to have like a thank you kind of exercise around the table. Things like that are going to help us. And I think another thing that also comes to my mind is let's let's always do activities that take us back. For example, travel. Let's go to places that we've maybe when we were cutting or when we used to we have dreams. Like my husband loved Canada. So like, we should think places like that. Let's do things that brings us to a position where we are just remembering something of hold, like something we have been fantasizing about, something that brings out the fantasy. Let's do that. Let's travel. Let's have date nights that I'm still desiring. Like,
Hmm.
let's do things like that. Let's have me and my husband's time alone. Let's visit places together with the children, with ourselves. And I think putting all of those things that reminds us of it is you and I is always very helpful, because sometimes we can be so preoccupied with work, family, life, that we forget that if Jesus tarries and God preserves us in good health that He has promised us, it will be you and I at the end of the day. Like, the children are going to go. You will retire from your work. Like, no matter how much you love it, you retire and it will just be you and I living the life together. So let's build those things. Let's remember to put fantasy, things that we know that each of us appreciates, into our relationship.
Wow, thank you very much, sir and ma. Like Sister Bumi said, all of these things. Sometimes we imagine it. I wish I can do this. I wish I can do that. Of course, that's the right thing to do. But the thing is, beyond all of these thoughts, beyond all of this, it should be like this. We should do this. That intentionality. Do you really want your marriage to work? Because, you know, we are talking about all of these things. Oh, you want to go to Canada? My husband has been talking about Canada. I want us to go to Canada together. Even if you don't have the means to go to Canada, but you have the means to work on your marriage, you desire to make your marriage work. Little little things go a long way. You are Sometimes I wonder that, even apart from marriage, sometimes I wonder that sometimes we know what to do, we know the right thing to do, but we are so relaxed, we are so complacent, we don't have the push or the vibes, or we don't have that strong push to get us up into doing those things that we should do. For example, as the husband or the wife, that if I do this, it will make my husband happy. If I do this, it will make my wife happy. And it will make my marriage, like, it will spice up my marriage. But, eh, is it necessary? Does he really need it? Is it worth it? I know, I understand I should do it, but I don't just want to do it. But let that colleague at work, let them come, or your pastor, or your someone outside, an external person comes, like Sister Bumi said, we will start running elter skelter. Okay, all right, sir. It's okay, sir. Oh, when do you need it? I'm going to help you. Okay, I'm going to print it out for you. In fact, don't worry, don't disturb yourself, I'll bring it to your place. But for our own, that is where the over familiarity is. So, like someone said, that, you know what, it is beyond, okay, let's do it this way. If you complain that your marriage is boring, then it is not about your partner, it is about you. Because if you work on yourself, then it will tell on your partner. Your partner will see the change and respond, because it is the input that gives the output. You cannot plant mango and expect apple. So if you work on yourself, your partner will discover the change. Like I've always heard, let the change begin with you. So if it is the husband or the wife that realizes, oh, I don't like the way my marriage is going, I want to spice things up, then let that change begin with you. You change first and see whether your wife or your husband will change or not. So, and when you change, then you are waking, even if your partner has been thinking about it, but seeing you doing it, intentionally doing it, it will send some signal to your partner and help you. The both of you will come together, and it's like, oh, you are beginning to see things in the same direction, and it becomes easy to achieve. Because, well, yeah, like someone was saying that when you complain that your marriage is boring, why not try different activities like Sister Bomi shared, marriage, maybe couple related activities, things that will always bring you together, not go and do it yourself. Not, you can do it yourself. Why not look for things to bring the both of you together? Even if it is just spending 2 nights or 2 days away from home. But I think it's all still takes intentionality, not just the knowledge alone. So how do we get to like uh move beyond getting all of this knowledge and getting into the practical, the real sense of it, such that this goal of overcoming, at least, of course, it's you we cannot do away with it, we cannot escape it, but how can we get to make it happen beyond the knowledge, beyond knowing what to do, like helping the people that will be watching us out there to actually be able to achieve this goal of spicing up our marriages, before we bring this discussion to a close?
Okay. So, spicing up our marriages. How do we spice up our foods?
Spices.
You use different spices, ingredients, changing method, changing formula, check, checking recipes, and sometimes some people Google recipes. Sometimes some people read books so that they can bring enough spices into their meals. So that is necessary for marriage as well. You need to do research, you need to listen to right people, you need to watch certain webinars or lectures on spicing up your marriages, and you need to pray.
Mm.
God can inspire you. You need to ask God for inspiration. It's different from just listening to random messages. It's different from just reading random books because we don't have the same story. We are all unique in our own ways of doing things and in our lifestyle and in the way we were made and the way we were brought up. So God can give you inspirations. And just like our host has mentioned, it takes two to tango. Change starts with you. You need to be determined. You need to be determined. So I will come from the angle of the prodigal son. When the prodigal son discovered that things are not going well with him, and he discovered that he had lavish, he had finished everything. He had seen finished, and the word has seen him finished. What did he do? Then he changed the course. He was like he made a determination. I will arise, and I will go back. Sometimes you need to make such determination and take that step.
Depending on the
Rise
pain.
up, swallow your pride, swallow your ego, and go back to the kind of personality you used to be, to the kind of environment or situation where you are your best, when you are at your best. So for us, I would say, as children of God, we need to be determined, we need to discipline ourselves, we arise and go back and continue to learn and continue to implement and implement. So that is my own recommendation.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, I think talking about learning, that's very important, like you said. And I think that we should invest time in, because there's also a part of being familiar that is just an assumption, that we think that we know the other person finish, but it's not really. like that. Human beings are human beings. Even the Bible says, "Who can know? Who can know the heart of man?" Yeah,
Ah,
who can know?
you know,
So it looks like, oh, my husband is very predictable, my wife is not predictable, but wake up, it's not as simple as
it's not.
that.
Yeah.
Somebody that may be presenting themselves like you're stupid today might become a roaring lion tomorrow. You just don't know that lion in them that is cooking up. So I think we should invest time in knowing our spouses. We should invest time in trying to know them better. And for people who know the right thing to do, like, okay, I want to like cook a new meal, but something I've observed is my husband will not even appreciate it, because situations like that happen too. That a person in the relationship is trying to invest time in turning like things around for them, like spicing things up, but it looks like the husband is like, what is this? Or the wife is the one that is like, what is this? Or some spouses will even be like, is that the new thing they taught you in church? Things it might be discouraging to some people. But see, let me encourage you. What you sow, you will reap.
Yeah.
Mm.
If you continue to sow positive seeds in your relationship, you will reap it. The devil might want to discourage you by thinking that it's not working, or by bringing that thought to your mind that things are not changing. But I tell you, you will reap it. It will always show. After a while, the other partner will be like, whoa, whoa, like this is something they treated like with contempt before, they will come to appreciate. So let's not be discouraged. If there's something, or if you think your relationship needs spicing up and you're investing time into it and it doesn't look like changes are happening, just know that that time has it has a limit. Like there's a limit to
Expiry
it.
date.
There's an expiry date to that phase. It will soon pass. Just continue to do the positive thing. Continue to invest in your relationship. Continue to bring in your own spice. Over time, the relationship will change. Everything will become what you want it to be. And for people who know but don't want to do, I think that the question becomes, what do they want in their relationship? Maybe their goal is different. Maybe they have reached a point that they don't want to invest in that relationship again. And I would say, don't give up on your relationship, really. If God has brought you together, because we are talking about marriage here, there's a purpose for it. There's a purpose for that relationship. So don't give up, do. Because it is not, is it the book of James that says it profits us not if we look and we walk away and we forget the way that we have. We need to make changes to what we are doing, because that is when our relationships will become better.
And I want to,
Wow.
I don't know if there is a chance for final word, but I want to put this here.
Ah,
James
yes,
chapter 4.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Wow. Awesome. It's really, really interesting. It's still Ginseng Matters with Roy, guys. And if you've been watching us, please don't hesitate to share this video out with your friends, your colleagues at work, your siblings, and any other person that you know could benefit greatly from this discussion. And gradually, we're bringing this episode to a close. But just before then, there is something to take home with you. So we'll be looking at that in the next few minutes. Over to you, sir and Ma. Our
Okay.
takeaways.
So the takeaway I want to add may sound harsh, but it's for every one of us. And that's James chapter 4, verse 17. It says, to him that know the right thing to do and
And
do
do
it
it.
not,
To
to
him,
him
it
it is a
is.
sin. If you know the right thing that can help your marriage, if you know the right thing that can make your spouse happy, that can make your marriage better, and you refuse to do it, maybe out of laziness, or you are procrastinating, or you don't feel like, or you, if you refuse to do it, the Bible says it is a sin. And if we continue in sin, grace will not abound. And if we continue to be sinners, then we cannot get to heaven.
Hmm.
No matter how many days we spend in church, no matter how many days we spend on our knees praying or doing spiritual things, if we continue in such sin, we cannot get to heaven. So that's my own pattern.
I think my own takeaway for us today will be, look at your premarital years. What is that? Pick one thing that you do then that you don't do again, and bring that spice again into your relationship.
Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. It's wow. Awesome. Thank you very much, sir and ma. And for me, I am going to add that marriages don't take care of themselves. You have to take care of your marriage. Newborn babies would not take care of themselves. You, as the mother, you, as a father, need to take care of them. So, your marriage is your work. The same way you wake up very early in the morning and you go to work, you put everything into it so that you don't miss your salary at the end of the month. So also work on your marriage so you don't miss your peace of mind. So you don't even miss heaven in the long run. Because a bad marriage can lead to the other side. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us on the platform today. And a very big thanks to our guests, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. We really appreciate everyone who has joined us one way or the other, whether through YouTube or through Facebook. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to we have Mr. Ernest here. He said, in my opinion, familiarity can only become negative if both parties do not treat themselves in mutual respect. As couples, definitely have to be familiar with each other. Wow, respect. Respect. The moment we lose respect in our relationship, then something is wrong because the respect you give to your spouse before the marriage should be the same even in the marriage, so you can achieve the same results that you got that helped you finally get married to that beautiful sister, to that brother. Yeah, I think. Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Ernest, for joining us on the platform today. So guys, please don't forget to share this video out to anybody that you know could benefit greatly from this discussion. It's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. Until we'll come your way again, please remain blessed. Have a wonderful, I think today is August 31st. Wow, next time we'll be coming your way. We will have started September. Wow, happy new month in advance to you, our viewers. All right, guys. Bye, guys. Ginseng Matters on Ginseng Matters. It's Ginseng Matters. Yeah, it's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. It's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. Right now, it's Ginseng Matters. Come back to Ginseng Matters on Ginseng Matters. It's Ginseng Matters. Yeah, it's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. It's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. Right now, it's Ginseng Matters. Come back to Ginseng Matters on Ginseng Matters. It's Ginseng Matters. Yeah, it's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. It's still Ginseng Matters with Roy.